These are the succulents from my recent haul. These are the ones I rescued about a month ago. And these are all the succulent mess from the recent typhoons. So, these succulents and all of these mess, they all have one thing in common. They desperately need to be repotted. Today we are dealing with another bit of a succulent emergency. My latest haul, which I picked up just over a week ago, and the rescued succulents from about a month back are both in urgent need of potting. The delay is starting to take a toll. Some are beginning to stretch and others are already dropping leaves. I haven't had the time to repot them until now, but they cannot wait any longer. But here's the real question. Number 1, can I actually pot them up all today? Number 2, how fast can I repot succulents really? Number 3, and just how many did I score from the last budget-friendly haul? We'll find out at the end of the video, so stick around with me in this casual plant with me session. We'll pot some succulents, have a little chat, and maybe I'll even share about how my succulent journey began and how it all started. Today is August 30, 2025, I think. I'm not sure. Oh, this has got lots of mealybugs. I don't know what this is. Is this emerald green? It's got babies. Anyway.
Got a little sidetracked earlier.
The sun is out.
This one plant had a bunch of mealybugs and ants. Total mess. But first, coffee, right? I absolutely love our local coffee here in Benguet. It tastes so fresh. I know I've been trying to cut down on caffeine and sugar, but hey, it's still early, so I think I'm allowed a cup or two. Anyway, I'm just prepping my tools here, so they're all within reach once I start potting. Makes the whole process smoother and helps me keep up the momentum. I'm actually in a bit of a rush to get these succulents potted before it starts raining. They've been sitting out in this old chair in the shed for a while now, and they're starting to show signs of stress. Some of the leaves are etiolating, they're stretching towards the sunlight, and a few rosettes are beginning to deform. So I figured it's time to stop putting it off and just getting it done. I know this hobby is supposed to be relaxing, and it usually is, but sometimes you just get so into it, you start collecting more than you can handle, and suddenly you're just overwhelmed. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's hard to just get the momentum to pot them up.
Time check. 11 o'clock, 11:10 to be exact. And the first thing that I'm gonna wanna pot up are these. Ang aking succulent haul. So, nagmamadali na ako bago umulan. Although umaaraw, pero baka kasi umulan. So, let's go ahead and pot it up. Pot it all up as quickly as we can. As quickly as we can. Kung tatanggal natin yung pots. I really don't know how many succulents there are yet, pero pagkatapos natin mag-pot, bilangin natin kung ilan lahat.
I was actually planning to do a talk through while potting, but I decided to go with a voiceover instead. I kept subconsciously singing this earworm the whole time. Last song syndrome. I didn't want to risk a copyright strike, right? Plus, the audio wasn't great. There was a lot of background noise, dogs barking, neighbors chatting, cars passing by, kids playing, the usual. So yeah, voiceover it is.
Orasan nga natin habang may battery pa ang ating camera.
It was already 11 a.m. when I finally got to start potting. I had to finish some house chores and take care of my pets first. I decided to divide the task into 5 rounds, and I timed each round to be 15 minutes long because I was curious how fast I could pot the succulents. My average speed before was about 16 pots in 30 minutes. Roughly, that's half a pot per minute. But today, my tools were all over the place and I couldn't even find some of them at first. So I had to get everything prepped before I could really get going. My goal was to pot as many as I could so I could move on to other chores on the balcony. A lot needed to be done. Some shelves were knocked over during the last storms. Soil was scattered everywhere, and I still had some dirty pots to wash. When you have a garden, or in my case, a container garden on the balcony, or container gardens, there's always something to do. I mean, you never really run out of things to do in the balcony. After cutting up some mesh tape to line the bottoms of the pots, I started the first 15-minute round. I used a stopwatch from my old tablet because my camera stops recording after about 18 or 20 minutes. And I didn't want to keep talking. I was actually talking while I was potting and recording. I thought I could use the audio for that. But anyway, so I didn't want to keep talking and potting without realizing that it wasn't even filming anymore. Timing it with a timer, it helped me remember to restart the camera in between.
Nain ko yung mga echeveria. Mga rosette. Hinayin natin yung mga rosette.
I began with the rosettes, mostly echeverias, before moving on to the graptosedums and graptoverias. I thought of grouping some of them together, the graptoverias. I thought I could just group them together in larger rectangular pots or maybe a large clay pot. I was super slow at first and I got frustrated because the soil kept getting into the leaves and they are getting right into the center of the rosettes. I hated it. Still, I haven't really quite nailed the technique, to be honest. Just like, when you're wrapping lumpia. The first few lumpias are messy. And then when you get the hang of it, you become really fast. You know what I mean, right? Filipinos, we wrap lumpias. Yung unang lumpia ay talagang ang pangit ng pagkabalot sa una.
Whatever this succulent is, it's so pretty.
Also, the table was too low and I was standing. So yeah, my back started to hurt. And I had to grab a chair to get comfy. Soil was scattered all over the table too, so I pulled out a tray to catch the excess and make it easier to return to the bucket. That definitely made things smoother.
Forgot. Ay, lao na banking na to. Ganyan dapat siya. Kaso dahil nakaganon, ayun, na ganyan sila. So, kapag bumibili kayo ng succulent, ipat nyo agad. Lalo na kung bare rooted. O kaya, kung i-air dry nyo muna sila, dapat nakapatayo.
And that gives us our first tip, and I really cannot stress this enough. Pot up newly bought succulents as soon as possible, especially if they're bare-rooted. And if you're planning to air dry them first or don't have time to pot them right away, make sure to keep them upright. This helps prevent etiolation and deformation since succulents naturally stretch toward the light. Just be careful not to place them in direct sunlight, especially if they came from a greenhouse or shaded area. The sudden exposure can cause the leaves to burn. While stretched or sunburnt leaves aren't harmful to the plant's health, they can take away from its overall aesthetic appeal. If your succulent does get leggy or etiolated, you can always fix it by cutting off the top and replanting the more compact part. If the whole plant is stretched out, you can let it grow until the top rosette tightens up, then snip it off and replant that.
Stricto, wait lang. Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. So here's how many, stop. 15 minutes, 23 seconds, actually. Kita nyo ba? Oh, ayan. 15 minutes. 15 minutes, 23 seconds. And how many did we, actually, what? Ito ilalagay ko dito kasi orasan ko ang sarili ko. Hindi nyo makikita yung timer, pero ako kita ko. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So I finished the first round. It was already lunchtime and it started drizzling. Turns out there was another storm locally named Jacinto, causing all the moody weather. It wasn't inside the PAR yet, or Philippine Area of Responsibility, but still, the drizzle and wind were strong. Then the sun would randomly come out again. Classic. So I took a break, grabbed some lunch, and adjusted the camera setup. In the first 15-minute round, I managed to pot 6 plants. Not bad, I guess.
So, let's do another 15 minutes. Tingnan natin kung ilan ang mapapat natin this time. Try natin without any distractions. Sana wag ulit umulan. Okay, let's start. Timer starts now.
For the second round, I felt way more comfortable. I tried to be more mindful of how the soil was getting into the leaves, especially since I wanted to keep the farina, the powdery coating. I wanted to keep that as intact as possible. I know it's hard with the current setup because these plants are exposed to both rain and sun, and I don't have proper protection for them yet, but I still want them to look nice. But to be fair, most of them already looked a little rough when I got them. So I'll just wait for new leaves to grow and let the rosettes form properly again. That's part of the fun of growing succulents, right? Like you watch them bounce back and they thrive over time. It's so nice to watch them grow and bring out colors as well. I especially love the ones with chubby leaves, the moonstones, the purple ones, and then the chubby leaves. And then the soft pastel colors, I love them. And the ones with lots of farina. The thicker the farina, the better. I love it. And I also love the cotyledons when they start forming the red outline on their leaves. I love that. I'm also a fan of the red agavoides types. When they turn really, really red and dark, almost brown and burgundy. I love those ones. And the crassulas with the stacking shapes and colorful variegated ones. Oh yeah, don't even get me started with the variegated succulents. When they're stressed and they start throwing out those crazy colors, it's just so addictive. They're absolutely stunning. But it depends because there are some plants when they're variegated, they kind of look the same. So it depends on the variegated plant. Some of them I'm not really a fan of, but they still look cool, I guess. Anyway, yeah. For these plants, that's still a long way off for these babies. For now, the goal is just to keep them acclimated to my area. I want to help them acclimate to my area and develop strong root systems. Once they're settled in, I can slowly introduce some stress. But the weather's been super unpredictable lately, so they're already getting a bit stressed, whether they like it or not. There's nothing much I can do there. This is the only space I've got for now, and I'm still working on setting up better protection from harsh weather. Maybe I could put up some tarpaulin or transparent covering or whatever. Or really, what I want is like a mini greenhouse, maybe. But I don't know if I can fit that in the balcony. Anyway, it's a slow process, but I'm taking my time with it. There's no rush. It's supposed to be fun and relaxing. It's a hobby, so I like to take my time. Anyway, for now, I'm just moving them around depending on the weather. So if it starts raining or if the sun becomes too harsh, I move the plants and tuck it underneath a shade to protect them. Like I mentioned in the previous video, if you can see one of my videos where I move my succulents around for certain reasons.
See what happens if you leave them. So if you buy succulents, dapat ipasok mo na agad para hindi mapasok. What?
Look at this poor rosette. It's all stretched out and deformed. It's definitely a reminder to pot up new plants immediately after buying them. Waiting too long can really mess up their shape and beauty, and it can lead to an ugly one and even death on some if they don't make it. It's just a waste of money.
Ang gagawin ko dito, may baby sa ilalim. What are we gonna do with this? Kita nyo? Ayan o. May tiny little baby sa ilalim. Paano yan? Paano yan? Yan kasi, kung ano-ano nang nangyayari kasi.
And okay, this one, I feel bad for this little baby. It grew underneath the roots of the mother plant and it looked like it was going to get buried. So I gently separated it and planted it beside its mama. Hopefully it'll continue growing there. It's as if the plant is breathing with the nose. It cannot breathe, so I had to put it beside her mama. By the way, I really want to know the names of these plants. None of them came with tags with IDs, and I tried to ask the seller, but she's also not familiar with many of the names of the plants. And while I can recognize a few and I can Google it, there are just so many hybrids out there. Like, I might think one is an Echeveria elegans, but it could be something totally different. You know what I mean, right? Like, it looks like an elegans, but when you look at the other plants, they all look like elegans. No bunny, all the other hybrids and cultivars that came from that one original plant. Because as we know in the wild, there are like a countable number of actually natural plants, but then there had been so many hybrids and it makes everything confusing. So yeah, you know what I mean. So if you recognize any of them, it would be amazing if you could help me out in the comments. Just drop the timestamp maybe and the name if you know it. I'd seriously appreciate it. I'd love to label every single one of them. Oo. Hindi ko talaga alam kung ano yung pangalan nitong mga halaman na to, yung iba. So, paki-timestamp. Masaya kapag mapangalanan natin lahat. Actually, I'm even thinking of making another video just for plant ID. Maybe we could do it together. What do you think? It could be a fun guessing game, like maybe in a live video or whatever. You can comment the name of the ID of the plants and we could chat, right? What do you think?
Okay. So, ilan ang nagawa natin in 16 minutes, 21 seconds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Uy, that's plus 1 more. Okay, let's do more. And I think this time, mas mabilis na siguro ako. Muulan na naman, hindi ko pa nakalahati. Gara, kailangan ko nang magmadali. Maambon na naman. Another 15 minutes.
In the third round, most of the 15 minutes went into prepping the plants, removing soil from the roots and lining up the pots. I managed to pot up 6 this time, which is 1 less than the previous round. But I've already picked up some speed. Since most of the prep work is done now, I'm sure I'll be even faster in the next round.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, stop. Timer stops. Okay, so that's 15 minutes. Para makita nyo, 15 minutes, 3 seconds. Ayan, and we made another, we potted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pang 7 sana to, pero tama na yun. So, 6 ulit. Kanina, yung first na batch, 6. Second na batch, 7. Pero medyo lumampas ako sa oras yung second batch. 7. And this time, 6 ulit. So, yun ang more or less average. 6 or 7 pots in 15 minutes. But, let's do it one more time. Let's beat the record. Kasi, mabilis na mabilis talaga yun dahil nag-cut ng tape, mesh tape. Tapos, nag-ayos. So, this time, ilagay muna natin itong mga pots sa lalagyan, and then let's do another 15 minutes, and let's try to beat the record of 6, 7, 6. And then sa fourth round, tignan natin kung ilan. Yeah, let's make it fun, right? Because nagmamadali tayo. Ang purpose natin is nagmamadali tayo bago dumilim, gumabi, umulan. Marami pang ipapat. Okay, so this is now round number 4, and in round number 4, actually there could be 5 or 6 rounds, but I only have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 pots. All the other pots are dirty, so let's see. Maybe 2 rounds, tapos makikita na natin yung average na speed natin ng pagparang ng succulents. Anyway, paubos naman na. Paubos na yung succulent haul. And you know what? This video, I'm gonna turn it into 2 parts. 2 or 3 parts. No, actually 2 parts. Kasi masyado nang mahaba. So the first part will answer the first question, which is anong speed natin sa pagpapatak ng plants, at kung ilan lahat yung plants na na-haul natin sa una, kasi hanggang ngayon hindi ko pa rin talaga alam. So yep, let's finish that, and round 4, and then yung second part ng video, yun naman yung mga ipapat up natin, yung mga ni-rescue natin na succulents from the typhoon. Actually, ang dami-dami pa nun. So unahin muna natin tong succulent haul. So yep, let's start with round 4, and the timer 15 minutes again. Timer starts now.
By this point, I'd picked up a bit of speed and just wanted to finish potting everything up quickly since it started drizzling pretty hard and the wind was getting stronger. I realized I wouldn't be able to pot up the rest of the succulents that day, so this plant with me session will have to be split into 2 or maybe 3 parts. Honestly, as I'm uploading this video, I still haven't potted the rescued plants yet. That's definitely something I need to do ASAP. They're starting to show signs of stress and I really want to save them before it's too late.
Pagsasamahin ko to. Si pendants, cotyledon pendants. Is this pendants or woody? I don't know. Anyway, pagsasamahin ko yan. Kinulang pa tayo ng isa. Isang round pa. May natira pang plants. Pero wala na akong pots, so I'm gonna use the dirty pots. Old dirty pots. 15 minutes, yay! So 15 minutes, 9 seconds. Let's stop. Okay, 15 minutes, 13 seconds. That's the time. And that's round number 4. And how many? Lahat. So, this is 1. Binilang nyo ba? 1, 2, 3, 16. Wow, ang bilis. Mabilis pag naka-ready na lahat. Okay. So, let's do the last round, 5th round. Pero kunin ko muna yung mga pots kung luma.
For this last batch, I used some slightly dirty pots. They were still pretty much new. The plants that were in them before had rotted during the last typhoon, so I just reused them without washing. Not ideal, but I was in a rush and they weren't too bad. The main goal was to see how fast I could pot succulents so I'd have a better idea of how much I can get done in one go in the future. Plus, my camera cuts off every 18 minutes, so this also helped remind me to start it on time. For this last round, I started by brushing off the excess soil from the roots of my succulents. I saved the trailing jade and Graptopetalum supreme for last since they wouldn't fit into the round pots I had. I was originally planning to place them in larger clay pots, but I ended up using a black rectangular one I found at a shop called Japan Surplus. It's inside a mall, and despite the name, the stuff there isn't really actually surplus.
Okay, medyo basa ito. Dinip ko lang siya sa water. Kasi maputik. So, medyo malalaki pa rin yung holes niya, ano? So, let's line it up with more mesh.
Before potting, I gave the rectangular pot a quick rinse to remove the leftover soil sitting at the bottom. The drainage holes were a bit big, so I lined them with mesh tape to prevent too much soil from washing out while still keeping things well draining. I also added a layer of pumice rocks at the bottom to help improve drainage even more.
Okay, so the thing is, I forgot to count yung last round. I think 13 or 14. Kayo nang mag-figure out kung ilan. But anyway, yung first round natin was 6, second round 7, third round 6 ulit, and then fourth round around 16, I think. And then last round 13 or 14, 15 kung sama yung malaking rectangular pot. I-line up na natin sila at bilangin natin kung ilan. Hindi kasya sa frame ko, tinatamad na akong mag-adjust ng camera. So, let me just line it up. And then let's count all together. Okay, umaambon pa. Alright, one moment. Okay, let me go ahead and count. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Wow, kalain mo eksakto. So 50, and then these little leaves. So I think nagets ko na kung ano yung ginawa ni seller. So binenta niya ng half the price lahat ng 50 na succulents. Kasi sakto 50 siya eh. That's so cool. Ngayon ko lang na-figure out. Ganda ng weather, oh. Huminto na naman yung ambon. And medyo maliwanag na. Kanina super foggy. And ang ganda ng clouds. And this is what we've been doing. And this are the babies. I'm gonna put them in a rectangular pot with propagations. There you go. That's the haul. Yun, happy kid. And I'm gonna pot these babies up. 50 succulents. On the left tray, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 23. And then on the right tray, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 23. 46. The black rectangular one on the right side, that's 2. For 748. And then 2 more pots, 49.50. So 50 succulents for 250 pesos. All potted. That's the succulent haul. Sulit. If you dug this video, see what I did there? Don't leave just yet. Go check out my last one where I showed how I got all these succulents without breaking the bank. Or did I? It is a success story you don't want to miss. And subscribe. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.